Two different continents, two different companies, one common denominator. Tonight, we're talking steel cage carnage here on Ring Respect Radio. Boom, just like that, it's Thursday night, and you know what that means. It's party time with us. We're the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, and the man over to the side of me, he's the man with the angelic voice. He's Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, happy Thursday. How you doing, brother?
Oh, Munson, it's Thursday again, and I'm happy because I'm here on Ole Podcasts and Ring Respect Radio. You know another reason I'm happy, Munson? Is because we were only 2 days out from Ring of Horrors Part 4, the big PPW show of the year, everyone's favorite show with all the festivities. And Munson, this year, we brought the cage in.
Oh, we did, Papa Smokes. We got a whole lot of cage to talk about here tonight on the show. But before we even start getting down to our double-packed night of the evening, say hello to Zach Minger letting us know it's not National Boston Cream Pie Day. And then greetings to Brett Martinez, saying greetings, everyone, for the great Republic of Texas. And mentioned that I missed OVW. Yes, I did, Brett. Actually, when I came home today, I still had to work on a large project that I'm working on, not related to anything online, but to do with my shoot job. I had to close a very big quote that I was doing for a client, so I didn't have time to hop on, so I was running a little bit late myself today. Hopefully it's good. It says we got new tag champs over there. Fantastic. I will have to go and watch the replay of that. I do encourage anybody to check OVW out. They give their stuff away for free on YouTube, and it's a great community that is there watching live, including our friend Brett Martinez. And speaking of our friends, Papa Smokes, happy Cage Match Eve, gentlemen. Yes, and right back at you, Mangler. Thank you for coming in, and I hope you're looking forward to Saturday just as much as Papa Smokes and I are, because, yes, as Papa Smokes mentioned, it's going to be a PPW sort of day. But we've got double pack talk here today, Papa Smokes. What do you want to start with? Do we go right into PPW, or do we wait for the crowd to get here and we go and talk about IPW a little bit first?
Oh, whichever you think, Munson, but I'm ready to go on both. I enjoyed the IPW card, and I always love talking about PPW, especially so close to the big show of the year.
All right, well, because it is the big show of the year, and we want to talk about it and give it the time it deserves, we're going to start with IPW, and we're going to dedicate the last half of this show all to Prairie Pro Wrestling and your Prairie Pro Wrestling related questions. So let's get right down to business. Our friends over at IPW New Zealand, shout out to all of you over there, all the great people that we have worked with over there as well too on our show. We've had many of the people that we appeared, few of the people that appeared on this program have been on Ring Respect Radio before, and we're going to get right down to business. We want to talk about first the lay of the land and the arena they're in, and that's where Papa Smokes comes in. So we're going to start with Papa Smokes on this.
Of course, Bob. Context. Everything's context. So let's see, where are we and what are we doing here? We're in Auckland, New Zealand, the capital city. Population 1.5 million. It's on the north part of the North Island, and it is on what is called the Auckland Isthmus, which is a series of islands and harbors. Auckland is one of the only cities in the world to have two major harbors on two major bodies of water, because it's right up there. It's got ocean on both sides. So what an interesting place. Auckland, New Zealand has the Sky Tower, which is the second tallest building in the southern hemisphere. They have many fields of volcanoes, and in fact, the venue that we're going to be looking at here tonight, the Mount Eden War Memorial Hall. Mount Eden is a volcanic cone 5 kilometers from the central business district of Auckland. Our bloody venue is on a volcano, basically, man. So this is awesome, right? Such
Um,
different geography than we're used to, us prairie boys out here in Canada.
yeah.
This Auckland is very multicultural, has lots of people from Asia and other parts of the world, and there are many, many volcanoes there, but most of them or none of them really have erupted since 1450.
Yeah.
So I know those people in Auckland are keeping their fingers crossed. As long as those volcanoes are quiet, they're all right.
That's right. They certainly are. But talk about how badass they are when they can sit there and say that they put wrestling shows on top of a volcano. Brett
Yeah.
saying Auckland, New Zealand, the home of David Tuaman Tua. Auckland, the home of many great people, especially a lot of the people we're going to be talking about on this particular card. But we'll get right down to business, Papa Smokes. This particular show is the Nightmare Before Christmas 2024. Why are we going this far back? Well, because that's the order that they're in on YouTube right now, and that's no discredit. We know how much work that Jake Sheehan puts into putting these shows together, the editing and everything that he does for multiple companies. So that is why that IPW's shows, they're a little bit behind what their actual real time is and everything like that. So going into this, I did kind of have a pre-notion of a couple of the results that were going to happen on this show, but it's been enough distance that a little bit of it slipped my mind, and it didn't ruin the overall experience for me either. It never does. I mean, they could tell me the results every time. I'm still going to enjoy the damn show. We'll mention that on commentary, or our ring announcer tonight, Steve McClary. We have, of course, David Dunn, the GM and good friend of Ring Respect Radio, on commentary, and also joined by Jake Sheehan, who's also the special timekeeper, another good friend of our show as well, too. So a lot of people who have been across here on our show, shout out to them and the great commentary they did all night.
I love our friends down in New Zealand, our Kiwi buddies, and doing a great job on commentary as well. Both very well spoken, very knowledgeable about wrestling. Commentary was awesome throughout this.
Sure was. Hey, it's Basser up now. It's good evening, boys. What's going on Saturday? Bass, you know what's going on Saturday, brother. That Ring of Horror show. And we're going to be talking about that very shortly, brother. We're just going to go through IPW New Zealand's show here first. And we're going to get to your Ring Respect Radio preview show for that Ring of Horror show coming up here this Saturday. So stay tuned. It's on its way. Let's get down to this, Pop Smokes. Our first match of the night, we have Vinny Dunn taking on Ringo Ryan. And this was an interesting way to get started up on this card. In fact, I like the way this started up on this card. They didn't go for the highest energy or the high flying or any of the wow spots or anything. They went with a couple of really solid pro wrestlers that put on a solid, well-kept, well-timed pro wrestling match to kick this off. These guys knew exactly what they're doing. They knew how to hold the crowd throughout this entire thing, but they had some stuff to get done at the end of it as well, too. So this one didn't end with your typical standard finish by any means. We know that there's a little bit of shenanigans. Troy Daniels gets himself involved here. He distracts Vinny Dunn, who's supposed to be his teammate. This is supposed to be part of a group. What's going on here? Why is he distracted him? Ringo Ryan ends up getting a pinfall victory, and then all of a sudden it all comes together. Vinny Dunn gets turned on by Troy Daniels, by Megan Kate, who gives him that low blow and everything. And then all on top of that, Ringo Ryan also betrays Vinny Dunn and sides with this group. What a turn of events that we had in this opening matchup.
It was a setup, Munson. All along, it was a setup. And that's what this first match was to do. This is going to push one of their angles along, one of their lower card or mid card angles. First match, have them come out, have them not try and tear the house down or try and have a Meltzer 5-star match or anything. This is simple, down to business, 8-minute match. Tombstone pile driver finish, and then the shenanigans afterwards, which set up some of the future booking with the Dynasty faction absorbing Ringo Ryan and then getting rid of their other guy at the same time. So very cool. The fans have something to think about in this first match, and this is just like a little appetizer, a little aperitif, Munson, something to just get your appetite going for all the bigger and longer matches to come tonight.
Well, now they've created the big bad foreign heel, Ringo Ryan from England. It ends up turning, so now the fans don't have to cheer for the foreign guy coming in there, so now they can hate on Ringo Ryan. But interesting turn of events, interesting to see where it goes. Up next, Papa Smokes, was maybe one of my surprising, most interesting matches of the night, in a sense, because we saw a new team that I'm kind of impressed by. I'm quite very impressed by. So, first of all, we had the Young Nats in this matchup, which we're very familiar with. The Young Nats, part of Church and State. Sir Mr. Burns had some good, interesting stuff to say on the microphone here tonight. But they're going to be taking on the team of Sonny Tupou and Kurt Brown, who came over, what did they say, from... was it Warrior Wrestling Academy or something like that they had graduated from? It was one of those academies over there in the U.S.
Yep.
I looked at these guys. I'm like, they're young, but they got a good look about them. They're very interesting. Yep. They showed some great skill throughout this match. Man, they stood out like a sore thumb. I think with time progressing together, these guys are going to be something in pro wrestling. They've got my attention for sure, especially Sonny Tupou. Sonny Tupou definitely stood out for me throughout this matchup. Very interested to see more of him. And they got the surprise victory, too. They ended up picking up that victory that nobody saw coming. And I really, really enjoyed this.
Same here. And I think you make a good point about Tupou and Brown just looking like a good tag team. I was watching this match. I'm not sure if I missed the part about them being fairly new out of one of the wrestling academies, but I kind of thought these guys had been a team for a while, even though they both look very youthful, but they worked very well together. A couple of handsome, good-looking guys. That always helps with presentation as well. And then having some dirty, weaselly heels to go up against in the Young Nats. That's Sir Mr. Burns has really got something going. Like, I dislike this man, and I realize he's healing it up hard and everything, but I dislike this guy. He's got a disingenuousness about him that's just, I just want to put my hands around his neck and choke for a while. He plays his part very, very well. Tyler Ernst you can see learning from him a little bit. And James Shaw, of course, coming out as the spiritual guide to the Young Nats. But yeah, for me also in this match, the story was the young tag team, Tupou and Brown, looking good, man. And whatever academy they're from has done a good job with these guys. Mm-hmm. They looked like they had their fundamentals and their skill sets all down. They also came into the ring with a kind of sense of confidence that you don't normally see in first year or second year wrestlers. These guys came out like they knew exactly what they were doing. They were booked for a win, and you can see that the company IPW sees something in Tupou and Brown as well. Probably the same thing we saw. Excellent presentation, good ring sense and good ring skills, and the potential to be a babyface team toward the top of the card in the future.
Yeah, agreed with you, Papa Smokes. Really enjoyed this. Our next matchup might be an interesting match for completely different reasons, so to speak. We got Matty Short taking on Perfect Peter Parr. I honestly thought Peter Parr was, about on the brink of being pushed to the moon, but not maybe the case in this particular matchup. Maybe a short step back for him, but Matty Short comes out. He's got a lot of dance moves. He's got a lot of swagger. He can really move around for a big guy. I got to give him that. Perfect Peter Parr, very much the taller man, there's a flair about Perfect Peter Parr. There's something about him. He's got a bit of an it factor that I feel is going to take him quite far as he moves forward with his wrestling career. I think this is just one of those things where it's like almost in every heel character's path, they have that one person that gets that upset. They get the better of them for a certain amount of time. And I have a feeling Perfect Peter Parr is going to get his heat back inevitably, but this was short. Matty Short won in a relatively short amount of time in this matchup.
Yeah, not very many minutes elapsed in this one. After Matty Short got done some of his gyrating and his silly dances, which I call it silly, but the fans are into it, man. They think he's funny and they like him a whole bunch. That's all you really need, right?
Yeah.
But as far as the heels go in this match, what really stands out, I like Peter Parr a whole bunch. I echo what you said. He's got a presence about him. But what I really like about these guys are their nicknames. Peter Parr is known as the graduate of the Alpha Institute of Testosterone.
Yeah.
That's a pretty sweet nickname. And then his crony that he comes out to the ring with, his name is Jack Maximum.
Fantastic.
Wow. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, man. There's a lot of male energy going on in this team, and I love it. And the fans were loving to heckle these guys all the way through this.
You betcha. And look who's joining us as well, too, Pop Smokes. Melball Collins is in the house, and Melball just dropped a new episode of Noah Unleashed here this evening. So when you have an opportunity, after Ring Respect Radio, of course, go on back to the OLE channel and check out the latest edition of Noah Unleashed with Melball Collins, a fantastic show talking all things pro wrestling Noah. But moving on from there, Pop Smokes, we'll just mention it. Weird cryptic video appears on the screen asking people, why are you here? Obviously, that's leading to something in one of the things we got coming down the road from IPW. So we'll hopefully get to see more of that at the next show and why that cryptic message existed. Next, we have our first of two women's matches of the night. We've got Mighty Maya taking on Amber Saint. Amber Saint, of course, the wife of Jake Sheehan, who made that very clear on commentary throughout the night, talking about how he wished he could be at ringside there in the corner of his wife and everything, rooting her on, but he had to root her on from the commentary table on this particular night. Mighty Maya, first introduction that we've seen to Mighty Maya, I believe, but at least I haven't recalled anything from Mighty Maya just yet. Great competitive match between these two. Very great competitive match. I think all along I kind of had a feeling that it was going to lead to Amber Saint getting the victory, because it almost feels like maybe the push is to get Amber Saint into that title picture at some point in time in the not too distant future here. But great competitive match here between these two ladies.
Yeah, I liked this one too, and it was placed quite nicely in the middle of this card too. Here's another good nickname in this match, Munson. Amber Saint, the Glam Reaper.
I love that.
Clever, funny. I like that one. That works perfectly.
Yeah.
But Mighty Maya comes in. She also had a nice baby face feel to her as well. She's big. She's strong. She looks real big and real strong. She's got to be a 6-footer at least. She had some weight and some strength behind her. They talked about her judo background. She used a couple of those one arm over the back flips too on Amber Saint. Not too bad. But you can see with Maya, she's newer to the game. She doesn't work as a worker in the ring. She doesn't interact with the audience so much, That'll come with time for sure. That'll come with feeling more comfortable in the ring. But she did her ring work just fine, and the crowd liked her and was behind her. Same thing with Amber Saint. They already know her. They don't like her. She cheats. She's arrogant towards the fans and all that. Perfect. So this wasn't a long match either. Maya controlled a bunch of the match using her strength and all that, but Saint comes back to give a high kick in the corner. That finished it off. Maya does the job. Amber Saint goes over. You got to think that's put Saint in a more profitable position for perhaps getting up into that ladies title scene, which she has been in before.
Exactly. Yeah, you kind of have that feeling that's the direction they're going. It's somebody they can rely on. So, all right, from here, Pop Smokes, the rest of the night gets very interesting on this card, and I say that because we have got some things that I wasn't expecting throughout this thing. In our next match for the tag team titles, SAS taking on the tag champs New Blood. First of all, this is where it started to show shots from the backstage area as the wrestlers were getting ready, their music's playing, and right behind the curtain, allowing them to say something before they go out or show them getting psyched up, something you don't see filmed in indie promotions very often because it's not an easy thing to go about, but something that, Jake and the team have decided to try to do with some of these matchups here tonight. I thought it was a cool effect. I thought it's interesting to peel back that curtain just a little bit every once in a while and do something different. So I got to say kudos to Jake and the team on that decision.
Yeah, I like that one too. And as the live crowd gets to see the show as it's contained within the stage, so to speak, the ring and the ringside area and everything. But for the people watching on YouTube afterwards, you get that little extra peek of the boys before they come out, before they come through that curtain. It's just like a little treat, kind of makes the viewer feel just a little more connected to the event and to the wrestlers in it.
Oh, 100%. So yeah, I liked that. I thought that was very interesting. They mentioned that New Blood is now the longest reigning tag team champions in IPW history, and considering how long the company has been in place, that is a huge thing. We've seen New Blood making their rounds throughout New Zealand now too. Very great, interesting new young team that we are getting to witness here before us. And this was a solid match with a very unexpected finish. It was so best way to explain this. The heels are trying to get the pinfall, and the foot clearly goes on the rope from the babyface team, but the other heel guy just slaps that foot right off of there before the referee has an opportunity to see it, and the 3 count gets counted, and everyone is shocked as hell as they crown new tag champs. Even Dunn and Jake Sheehan on commentary were beside themselves, not knowing that decision was actually official until SAS had the titles, and they're up at the top of the ramp just rubbing it in the faces of both David Dunn and Jake Sheehan.
Well, and as commentators too, when you have wrestlers that have been champions for a long time, you get used to calling their matches with them as champions. Munson, we know the same thing in our company, PPW, with Sheikh Akbar Shabazz. He was champion for 2 years. So it was just every match we called, you expected him to win or retain his title somehow. It's just an extra shock when they finally lose it. Same thing with New Blood. They're a babyface tag team with all kinds of enthusiasm and energy. They have the matching outfits. They kind of remind me of a Rock and Roll Express, kind of thing going on. Fast-paced aerial moves. The fans love it. And I'm sure the fans never wanted to see New Blood lose the tag team titles, but here comes SAS. And I like this team, Will Stone and Alex Savage. I particularly like Alex Savage. His presentation is so unique. He looks like a comic book character. He looks like the Wolverine a little bit. Those sideburns and that kind of cool hair and his short stub of a cigar he's always smoking. Or he looks like I don't know, he looks like the Wolverine kind of. Yeah, I like this guy. His presentation looks cool. And you can tell that he's a heel also. This is nobody that you would mistake for a babyface wrestler. He looks like he's up to no good. And by God, he was up to no good whatsoever.
No, and now he's got the tag titles, and he still has that contract that he has to use up very soon to cash in for a chance at the main championship as well, too. We're going to talk about that title here very shortly. But our next matchup, man, I saw this graphic come up. I'm like, here we go, Papa Smokes. Buckle up, and I hope they reinforce that ring, because it's the Great Ape, Jay Rilla, taking on Jamie Tagatasi. I'm like, oh yeah, baby, here we go. Here's some big-ass boys stepping into this one. Jay Rilla, who has barely been moved at all since he stepped into an IPW ring. Well, we're talking about a guy who has run the gauntlet across New Zealand. He has won every title you can imagine. This is a top guy in New Zealand pro wrestling, and he should be a top guy in any pro wrestling. And I will say, I did see it earlier today, Papa Smokes. On Saturday, the 25th, this Saturday, we are getting the final appearance from Jamie Tagatase in SPW before he leaves New Zealand to push his career further, as he is going to now be traveling the world to take his craft to other parts of the world. And first of all, Jamie, thank you for everything you've done in the New Zealand shows that we've gotten to watch. I'm going to continue to follow your career no matter where you go, and I hope that your dreams land you somewhere big, brother, because you have done some phenomenal work so far.
I can't see how he wouldn't be successful anywhere he goes, because he's got a lot of the sauce it takes to make a successful, good professional wrestler. He's got that size. He's got that awesome look. He's got the long hair and everything. He's a powerhouse. He's big. He's popular. But he could work heel easily as well, I think. But you and I have generally seen him as a babyface. the fans kind of naturally gravitate to a guy with such physical presence, and he's got a whole bunch of kick-ass moves in the ring. I can't see how he wouldn't be a success anywhere. I hope he comes to the States and to Canada too, because wouldn't that be a thrill if he came through our parts or somewhere where we were able to see him? It would be awesome because I've admired his work ever since we first started watching New Zealand wrestling. He's been on many, many, many of these cards because he's such a valuable standby in that wrestling community.
Well, just in case he happens to come across this or any of our New Zealand friends pass it along. Hey, Jamie, if you just so happen to be in Canada, say around the Prairie provinces, even in particular Saskatchewan, Canada, on Saturday, December the 6th, we might be able to hook you up with something, brother. Just let Bob Stokes and I know. We'll do everything we can. We'll move mountains for you. But speaking of moving mountains, I thought Jamie Takatahasi would be the first one to move the mountain, the great ape Jay Rilla here, Bob Spokes, and he came out like a ball of fire, bringing it to the great ape, had him on wobbly legs. He was awfully close to even picking the big man up and giving him a Samoan drop. And I thought, good God, they're going to have him at least go competitive against the great ape. Oh, how wrong I was, because that is where it all ended. Great ape then turns around, smashes the hell out of Jamie, the former IPW champion, the former SPW champion, the former every championship you can win across all of New Zealand. And he just covers him and ends it right then and there, making a statement about the place of Jay Rilla in this company.
And from the very beginning of this match, the stare down that these two had was just like the two biggest dogs on the block were going to face off and see who the biggest and the toughest guy is in this company and maybe in the whole country, you know? And like you said, Jay Rilla hasn't even been budged by anybody yet. And you think, well, if anyone's got the strength to do it, it's Jamie Takatahasi. But man, you knew that this match probably also wasn't going to last very long, whoever won, because the heavyweight bombs, the super heavyweight bombs that were getting thrown in this match were just too powerful to be denied. And Jay Rilla, I mean, what can you say? He's just too big. He's just too strong. And you can see that he's getting his feet underneath him as a wrestler. You know, we saw some of his previous appearances. He always looks good. He always looks like $1 million because his presentation is so good. But now you can see that he's feeling a little more comfortable, a little more confident in there. And this is probably Jay Rilla's biggest match of his career so far against New Zealand standby in Jamie. And wow, just within 4 minutes or something, Jay Rilla hits that Hollow Earth finish and gets the pinfall on Takatahasi. Wow, this is a shifting of the power dynamic in IPW and in New Zealand wrestling in general. Jay Rilla is here to stay. And if Jamie Takatahasi can't get the job done, it begs the question, Munson, who can?
And that's the craziest part, as Papa Smokes leaves us temporarily there. But when you've got a big man like that and he can't be stopped, if you're anybody holding on to championship gold in New Zealand right now, you got to be looking down the face of Jay Rilla, thinking to yourself, if he can't be stopped, what happens when he calls upon a title shot? What happens when they put him in that championship picture? If you're the champion, you got to be a little worried right now.
Absolutely, because once he gets a championship belt, who's going to take it off him? You have to knock this guy over and pin his shoulders to the mat for a 3 count. It doesn't really look like anyone in this company can do it at this time. We'll see what happens in the future, but if Jamie can't get it done, I can't think of who can.
We'll find out, I'm sure, sooner rather than later, but that time will come. But now we got some cage matches to talk about, Papa Smokes. 2 cage matches on this show before we even start talking about the cage match coming up this Saturday for us. But yes, our Steel Cage Carnage starts with the Women's Championship matchup, possibly the last opportunity for Frankie Quinn to try to win the IPW Women's Championship back from the 5-time and only 5-time champion Megan Kate. This one was proved to be very, very interesting. The last time we saw these two battle it out was in the Fans Bring the Weapons matchup. We know that Megan Kate loves to get some color, got some color in that Fans Bring the Weapons match, got some color big time in this cage match to really sell things through as well too. I think the ladies did a nice job of opening up the steel cage night here on this card. These two clearly know how to work well together. They've been around for a while. They've worked each other so much that it's natural for them. They get inside that ring and they know how to work together and put on a great match. I wondered though, I was like, are they going to pull the trigger on Frankie winning it back again at this point? Or is this going to be one of those times where they're going to roll with Megan Kate for a while? And sure enough, Megan Kate pulled it off and remains the champion. And maybe that's what we're looking at. We were talking about Amber Saint earlier. Maybe that's the path that they're looking to go down, as Amber Saint coming for Megan Kate's belt.
Yeah, that's a distinct possibility. And when this match started, I kind of thought, well, I'm not sure who's going to win this, because Megan Kate is quite an effective heel. She gets reaction from the fans. She's a Class A jerk when she makes her appearances in the ring all the time. But Frankie Quinn on the other side is an attractive baby face as well. You can't help but like her. She's got a good presentation. She's got the nice smile and everything too. So you're just thinking, well, I wonder which way they're going to go in this match. I liked it when they first started. You mentioned that these, similar to us out here in Canada, a lot of the women wrestlers have to wrestle each other lots and often because there aren't as many lady wrestlers around. But these two didn't do what you would figure would be their typical match. These two got into the whole spirit of the cage match right off the bat. They were using the bars and using the wire to rake each other's foreheads and stuff. We had a little bit of an actual hardcore match going here. Tip my hat to the ladies. They went for it completely. This wasn't a tremendously long match. I think it was under 10 minutes, but they got done what they needed to do. That was a particularly nasty finish in the corner, too, when Megan Kate was sitting on the top rope and Frankie Quinn tried to climb up. Megan Kate grabbed her and just gave her kind of a sit-down power bomb off the second rope. Whew, that looked stiff, man. That looked painful, and it made for a great finish. And Megan Kate stands tall with the Women's Championship for now. But as we've seen, she's got some competition that's going to be climbing that ladder and coming right after her. We'll see about that. She might have the Glam Reaper in her future as well.
That'll prove to be an interesting one as well too. And yeah, that finish, I didn't know I was like, man, this hasn't been very long. Like that seems like a finish to me, but I couldn't picture it being the finish just yet. I thought they were going to get a little bit more time. And when it was the finish, like, okay, damn, I didn't see that coming. I'm kind of shocked. Like finally something that looks like a finish was a finish in a wrestling match. Go figure, right? Like, I mean, that's what I think I enjoyed the most. And I was like, I'm so accustomed to this modern age of pro wrestling where it's like people take 50 of these things and all of a sudden they're still kicking out. And we get one solid finish from these ladies to top off a great cage match where they went for it in the cage. And my hat's off to them. Honestly, despite the fact that there was a lot to talk about in the main event, like the big cage match here with the guys, honestly, I think I got to give a little bit of a tip of the hat to the ladies and say they might have been one of the best matches of the entire night.
Yeah, I thought so too. It was quite entertaining. They didn't need a whole ton of time. They didn't have a whole ton of bells and whistles and people climbing to the top of the cage and swinging off of it and dangling each other over the sides of the cage. There was none of that kind of stuff in it. This was a pretty solid match. It looked like a real struggle between two wrestlers. And just to bring up that finish again, whew, that looked so rough, man. That when I watched that bump, I could feel it all through my own body, all through my back and my ribs and my stomach. Like, whew, that looked like that hurt. Hope Frankie's okay after that one.
I hope so as well, too. But now it's time to talk about, well, we're talking about the main event of this show in particular. We got more to talk about afterwards here on our show. But yes, this one is going to be for the IPW Heavyweight Championship, Papa Smokes. It is also a steel cage match, but this time a triple threat steel cage match, as the match contains Spartan, and I'm going to make sure I say this right because you know how much I had to get it wrong in our MLW days. It's Horace when we're talking about IPW in New Zealand. And then, of course, the other combatant in this is good friend of the channel, good friend of the video, bros, the Divine Light himself, Mr. James Shaw. Yes, it was those three in this matchup. And where do you want to start with this one, Papa Smokes? Because there was a lot of activity going on throughout. There was some very unique spots, I would say, that happened in this one. We had steel chains being brought into the picture here. We had the two gentlemen who beat the hell out of each other with those chains inside the ring and then locked each other together, tied each other up. So they were acting as one unit at one point. They thought they had taken James Shaw out of the picture throughout this thing. But then we get Father Shaw. Father Shaw gets involved with this thing. And he brings his son James a pair of bolt cutters. And James is in there cutting the side of the damn cage. He's clipping apart every piece of wire throughout this entire thing. And I'm like, God damn, I'm like, they spent all this money on this steel cage here, and they're going to clip this thing and allow some sort of crazy finish. And so as this is happening, then the guys get back in it. They drag Jays back in. There's beatdowns, all this stuff happening. They go back at it with each other, beating the living piss out of each other. And just as you think the two of them are going to end things, all of a sudden the bell rings and James Shaw is standing on the outside of the ring cheering because he's gone out the part where he had already clipped it earlier in the matchup. Man, this was all kinds of batshit crazy, but batshit crazy led to the now record-breaking 5-time IPW heavyweight champion, the Divine Light. James Shaw is back at the top of the mountain. Papa Smokes, your thoughts on this one?
Oh, love this match, and they gave this one a lot more time. Of naturally, it being the co-main event of this show. This was just under 20 minutes, this match, for the New Zealand Heavyweight Championship. You know my thoughts about three-ways. I don't completely love them. I love a two-person match a lot more, but they managed to do this pretty well. It makes it a little more difficult in a cage as well to have a three-way because you really can't have that one guy just lying outside the ring waiting while the other guys do their spots and all that. But James Shaw, perfect for this. A cowardly heel who's always trying to avoid any violence. He's always trying to avoid getting himself hurt or punched at any point in this match. He's always trying to get away from everything. He had the young Nats come out and interfere for him or try to interfere. Sir Mr. Burns and Ernst as well. And then the new blood came out to make that save. And then we had a whole other match going on across the crowd barrier, in the crowd, on the ramp, in the back. These four wrestlers fought, giving a kind of mini match within a match during this. But a masterful performance by all the guys in this. I mean, Horace and Spartan did all the heavy lifting in this match, really. James Shaw was playing the heel, playing the coward, and avoiding any stress, while the other two absolutely bashed each other to bits. You could see Spartan's chest was just getting absolutely chopped to hamburger. There were all kinds of weapons that made their way into the cage, which you don't always see weapons in a cage match, but these guys went for it. There were chairs, kendo sticks, chains, all that kind of stuff. So really good stuff. Really a good time for the crowd. Yeah, and while James Shaw is cutting those cage links, Horace and Spartan just really battled like warriors. I was so impressed with this. Like, they could have made that match just those two, and it would have been quite entertaining as well. But our friend James Shaw, the slimiest heel in New Zealand, does it again, and does it with the prize on the line, the New Zealand Heavyweight Championship. Cuts that cage, slithers out like the slimy little snake that he is, and manages to get his 5th New Zealand Championship. Probably got a verbal dressing down from David Dunn after this as well for wrecking his cage. You can imagine what would happen around here if that happens. But At any rate, James Shaw, leader of the Divine Light, is your New Zealand heavyweight champion. He is the top guy in IPW, and he's been a veteran of Ring Respect Radio. We have had him on our show several times. He is a friend. We love this guy, but the fans in New Zealand are not loving this because he's the most hated man in New Zealand wrestling, and he is your champ. I hate to tell you, fans, but you're stuck with him now.
You bet, yeah, and he gave that promo at the end just to rub it all in.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
show. I liked it, and I know I feel like I'm cutting them a little bit short and not giving them the time of day, but we got lots to still talk about here on the show with PPW as well too, Pop Spoke. So, big thumbs up to IPW. Keep them coming. Jake, great job on the editing, brother. Especially, I mentioned it on the channel that opening is an absolute banger that he put together there, the opening intro of the show. I thought that was phenomenal. So fantastic work there, Jake, and all the crew at IPW. Thank you for offering up your stuff for free on YouTube, and everybody go check them out. Give them a like, follow, subscribe, all those wonderful things. Moving on though, Pop Smokes, it's time to talk about this coming Saturday. It's time to talk about what we got going on this Saturday. And chat, if you're all still with me, let's talk about some Prairie Pro Wrestling Ring of Horrors 4. And I'm going to start this off by saying I was just messaging with somebody who clearly hasn't been to a Prairie Pro show in quite some time because he bought the $15 tickets in advance and was asking about if his friends could come early to grab his seats for him. I said, my brother, you bought standing room tickets only. He goes, oh, no seats anymore? I said, no. That's not how it works. For the last couple of years, reserved seating costs you $30. Reserved seating sells out extremely fast. And reserved seating sold out in record-breaking time for this show in under 2 hours. And so, yes, seats are all sold out. All the advanced tickets are sold out in general. If Asesino doesn't win the title, I'm riding. So this solo riot in the streets of BC is what STG is
yeah.
there. We'll see about what El Asesino does this coming Saturday. But, they're people who need to know, if you have a reserved seat, you are able to get into the show a little bit earlier. 6:45, we open the doors to the reserved seating fans. So if you have your reserved seating, make sure that you have those personalized QR codes to scan in at the door through myself, Bobby Munson. I will be there with my fantastic costume on that evening, greeting all you wonderful people as you come through the door. And then after that, we start to allow all the people who got standing room general admission tickets to come in the door. And then finally, we have a very, very small, and I talk very small, limited amount of tickets available at the door. And we did that on purpose because we want those people to have that opportunity, even though we could have sold all of them, Pop Smokes, and just had a full sellout. You know how the crew is. We like to give a little bit of a chance to the ones that are willing to face the whatever elements are outside, and they're willing to stand out there and wait for their turn. So I'm writing to Papa Smokes to shake up the booking committee as he corrects himself here. Booking committee, Bobby. I've told you 1,000 times, STG, I am not on the booking committee. This has been confirmed by El Asesino and by Papa Smokes that I am not on the booking committee. And whether or not I'm considered an influencer who influences the indies, the influencer of the indies, as they would like to now refer to me as, I guess if that's how El Asesino has stayed away from the title all this time, then I guess maybe my influencing can help keep that asshole from winning the title this coming Saturday, as he's going to be locked into that steel cage in our main event against the champion, who's coming up close to 1 year as our champion, Michael Allen Richard Clark. Man, Papa Smokes, if this isn't worth the price of admission alone, I know we got a lot of other stuff that will be on this card.
Absolutely, and this is the biggest, most significant main event that PPW has ever thrown since our birth in 2019. We've had some big title matches. We've had some big feuds get decided in big matches, but they can't be any bigger than this. You and I have talked a long time about this. You and I have done commentary for Saskatchewan wrestling for many years, more than PPW's beginning in 2019. So we've seen these two wrestlers, El Asesino and Michael Allen Richard Clark, cross paths a number of times in the past, and it's never a pretty sight whatsoever. These two just don't like each other. I don't know what to tell you. You want to hear something about from behind the curtain in PPW? These guys don't get along. They don't like each other. I'm not working right now. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. Well, Munson, you can second me on this. They
Oh
have
yeah.
not liked each other, but even apart from just being professional rivals who are both wanting to advance their careers to get towards belts and gold and notoriety and more money in the wrestling business. Beyond all that, these two just don't like each other. They are not similar dudes whatsoever. They see wrestling from diametrically opposite viewpoints and they just will never ever get along. So they've had a number of big matches over the years. One in particular, a no rules match, a street fight. What was that in Regina some years ago, Munson? It was, or
Yeah,
was it
that no holds barred thing that they had going.
no
No
holds barred?
rules. Like, yeah,
That's what it
that was
was.
brutal.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely brutal, man. There's still pictures of that online. Fighting in the crowd, the blood, the sweat, and just the look on Michael Allen and Richard Clark's face in some of those pictures. It's just the intensity and the fear kind of also that you can see. That match was an absolute classic. And this one is going to surpass even that because it's been a number of years since they've really had a big dust up like this.
Yeah,
But as we've
one year,
noticed,
1 year to be exact. If you want to count that TLC match from last year's Ring of Horrors.
okay, yeah, exactly. And this past year has been filled with venom for those two as well. Asesino has back jumped Clark a number of times throughout this, and Clark has had it with this, right? He's had the chair over the back, the chair over the head many, many times after being exhausted after a long match, getting jumped by the Mexican Devil. Just not a pleasant thing to endure at all. So Clark is sick of this, and his anger is at a peak point now. So imagine locking these two animals in a steel cage with only one way out. And it's going to be absolutely intense and absolutely violent. I really hope the PPW Nation is ready for this. I know that they're all looking forward to it, but we might see some real violence in this match, and we might see these two press each other to places they've never gone before in a wrestling ring and inside this steel cage. It's going to be wild, man. I'm going to be at ringside doing camera work for this, and I don't even know what's going to happen, man. It's going to be intense.
At least plus side for you doing camera work this year is that they won't be spilling to the outside of the ring like they did previously. Is STG saying, are hot dogs part of the cost of admission? No, but they're a prerequisite for eating while watching the show. But, saying Bob Smoke's going to drive to SK for the show. Look, STG, if you're going to make the trip out to SK for Ring of Horrors, I'll make sure you get a ticket, man. You're going to have a general admission ticket. Don't even worry about the price of admission. I'll take care of that for you because I'd love for you to be there in person to see the heartbreak on your face, Papa Smokes' face, and everybody else's face when that jackass El Asesino does not walk away with the championship. Hello to Astrid joining us here tonight on Ring Respect Radio. Thank you for joining us, Astrid. But either way, Papa Smokes, I mean, I make fun. I know I got picked on heavily last week by El Asesino, rightfully so. I fired back just as much as he dished out too, so I know how to take it. But he's fired up, man, and he's laser focused. I mean, while Michael Allen Richard Clark is going all over the world right now, wrestling at the moment, there is only one thing that El Asesino has been focusing on all this time. He hasn't been appearing anywhere else because he has dangerously been readying himself mentally and physically for getting inside that steel cage with the champion. So we know El Asesino known for being in these matchups, for going into these fights. They're bringing people into them because this is what he enjoys. He enjoys an absolute playground of carnage and chaos and cage. He is going to utilize that cage in every way he can to beat the champion down, to make the champion bleed and try to walk away with the PPW Championship.
For sure. And we've heard El Asesino grab the mic at various PPW shows over the past year. He's told us exactly what's on his mind. No extra words, no nothing. He's pissed off about the number of other wrestlers that are coming into PPW and try to win matches and take his spot and move their way up the roster towards a title shot before he gets what he thinks he's entitled to is a title shot. And you can't really disagree with that. He's a PPW original. He's been here since the very, very beginning. He wants his title shot, and he's been completely clear and honest about that, realizing that maybe the championship committee wasn't going to give him his shot. He started making his own chance, and that's when these attacks started, not only on Michael Allen Richard Clark, the champion, but really any of the fan favorites around PPW, including Phil Deadly and Riley Cruz and a few others that have felt the wrath of the Mexican Devil. He comes out with that steel chair, rolls into the ring, and he means business the whole time. That's how he got the attention put on him. That's how he earned this title shot, was by just going out and taking it from PPW management. And that's how he plans to win the title, is by resting on his strengths: deviousness, cunning, evil, bad intentions all the time, malice. That's what El Asesino thrives on. Is just that evil, and he'll do anything to try and trick his way to the title, to try and claw and scratch his way through Michael Allen Richard Clark. He'll try and push Clark's head right through the bars of that steel cage if he can. I fully expect El Asesino to stoop to any means necessary to get this belt. For all he knows, this could be his first, last, and only opportunity at this belt. It's against his biggest rival and his most hated enemy. It's a perfect cocktail, Munson. It's perfect for a main event of our big show of the year, PPW's Ring of Horrors 4. It's just absolutely perfect, Munson. I can't wait.
Yeah, you bet. It's not going to be the only thing to look forward to on this card either, Papa Smokes, because we've also got the annual Prairie Pro Wrestling Costume Battle Royal that's going to be taking place. Become a very big fan favorite. We are going to do our absolute best, and I'm going to try my hardest because it'll take some work. But after it's all said and done this weekend, I'm going to try to get this whole show edited, and I'm going to try to have that Battle Royal ready so that you and I on the Thursday night, the night before Halloween, can do the commentary on it as our personas will go about, whichever ones we choose. If we have our returning personas from the last 2 years, I sure hope so. But we're going to try to have that out on a special release for Friday, for Halloween Friday. So it'll be an extra release on the Prairie Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. And fuck no, I am not wearing a Jello suit at the show. That is just my natural body type, you asshole. All right. Anyway.
He listens to the words of El Asesino. That's good. That's good. STP.
Yeah, he's subscribed to the scripture of Asesino by the sounds of it, for sure. But yes, that Costume Battle Royal, we know last year was what Michael Allen Richard Clark won. He ended up getting rewarded with a championship opportunity that led him to the belt. Could we see that be a thing again this year? Will the winner end up going on to be given a title opportunity at our show come December? It's yet to be seen. I can't tell anybody if that's what the booking committee is going to go through with, but that seems to have been the trend in the past, so a very possibility. And I'm curious to see who we're going to see this year, Pop Smokes. We had Cheech and Chong in last year's Battle Royal. We had the Super Mario Brothers in last year's Battle Royal. You name it, we've had it in those Battle Royals. So I'm curious to see who's going to show up this year from the craziness that is the Costume Battle Royal.
Well, it is always interesting, too, because the first Costume Battle Royal that we had, all the wrestlers dressed as wrestlers, as famous wrestlers from the past. There's no need to get into a list of the names. Michael Allen Clark was a particularly convincing Kane. There were a few others that stood out as well. El Asesino as Stone Cold Steve Austin was quite a fitting matchup there too. But last year we saw quite a few costumes that weren't involved with wrestling, which kind of made it interesting and kind of made it neat as well. So what will this year hold? And Munson, I want to ask you, do we get a little hint? Do we get a little preview of what outfit you might have on? Because I was thinking about yours last year when I watched Terrifier for the first time the other night. Thought about your mask of Art the Clown. That looked, oh boy, here we go.
Again, see, because in Terrifier 3, Art goes all sorts of Santa Claus on us, I figured that this year we're going to be Terrifier version of Art the Clown, Terrifier 3 version of Art the Clown with the beautiful Santa hat. I've got myself some nice suspenders to hold the old pants up this year. They're going to look quite nice. And I'm going to maybe deck out a little t-shirt that I might have wore on the show just last Thursday night, Papa Smokes. And I'm really going to rub it in. You know what, the Mangler's right. We might have a bit of a fear of El Asesino, a healthy fear of El Asesino, but I don't care. I don't care because I have not learned my lesson yet. I have not learned it at all. And if he wants to continue to run my name in the dirt, then I'm going to show up there. I'm going to look him right in the eyes. And if he wants to kick me over and over and over again, I'm going to keep taking him. I'm going to keep getting my ass knocked down, and I'm going to keep standing up, and I'm going to stick it to that son of a bitch every time. And you know what? I also forgot, Papa Smokes. I got to call this out. I called this out weeks ago. I want to talk about the Crimson Conspiracy once again, because when it came to that last show, when it came to that beatdown, when I got my ass knocked out, and so did everybody else at ringside, who didn't? I mean, obviously you didn't, because you and Asesino are like this, my friend. I understand that. But you know who else didn't? Crash Crimson. Crash Crimson, the guy who trained this goddamn monster some many, many years ago, was also not attacked that evening by El Asesino. And Papa Smokes, I'm laying it out right here. I feel that there is no way El Asesino wouldn't have hit Crash Crimson in the face with that chair if those two weren't secretly working in cahoots together. I'm saying it right now.
Oh, come on. No, Munson, that's taking it a little too far. You know why El Asesino didn't hit Crash Crimson with that chair? Because if he did, he would have faced disciplinary action. Crimson would have suspended his ass, and that is not what El Asesino wanted right before the Ring of Horrors. You know he wants his specialty match, be it a TLC match or in this case, a cage match. He ain't getting himself suspended. That's the quickest way to do it, is to turn on Crash Crimson physically. There's no way he's going to do that. El Asesino's too smart for that. You could see that he wanted to. He had that chair up and he wanted to bash it right through Crimson's skull, but he didn't, because he's got to have some restraint to make sure that all he has to do is make that match on Saturday night, October 25th, Ring of Horrors 4, and he can make it happen. He can make his dream happen. He can make the PPW Championship a reality. He's going to put it around his waist. Maybe after that, Crash Crimson will get what he's got coming. And I think he does have something coming.
Well, we'll wait and see. We'll see who's right on this one, Papa Smokes, as we move along to that. As STG saying, this is the guy on the booking committee? Yes, sir, he is. And you know what? I stand by it. I feel that they're in cahoots because, again, he is holding this back so that he could make this elongated thing happen to draw Michael Allen Richard Clark blindly into the cage. They filled the champion with so much rage that he forgets that El Asesino beat him in TLC match last year. He forgets that El Asesino beat Cannonball Kelly in that chairs match the year prior. This is what El Asesino wanted the whole time. This has been a long plan. And you know what? El Asesino didn't even deny that shit. He said it was the smartest thing I had ever said when I mentioned about how he's been plotting to lure Michael Allen Richard Clark into this particular type of match. I'm on to something, Papa Smokes. I'm telling you, I'm on to something.
Oh, I think that part is true. El Asesino spun Michael Allen Richard Clark into his web like a Black Widow spider. That part was definitely a plan. When you're talking about Crash Crimson, the head of talent relations and one of the big wigs in PPW management, you think he's involved with that? I don't think so, Munson. You're wearing the tinfoil cap for this one. This is a conspiracy theory that has no proof behind it.
We'll see. We'll see what goes down this coming Saturday, Papa Smokes. But the one last thing I do want to mention is that we haven't talked about the Prairie Pro Wrestling Tag Team Championships yet. 1 year since we crowned the first ever Tag Team Champions, the Short Kings. They will be in action. They are going to be there this Saturday defending the belts, but against who? I don't have the exact team that they're going to be facing, but I think that we can narrow this down, Papa Smokes, that it's either going to be the Brotherhood or it's going to be Paralera. Both have had their cracks at the champions as of late. There's a very strong possibility that either one of those teams could be going for it. We know that the Short Kings have been victorious over both, but the interesting part is Paralera, the only team that holds a pinfall victory over the Short Kings. It was non-title, but it's also something that they can make an argument to management over, that they want one last chance at the tag team titles.
Yeah, I think you're on the money with this tag team situation here, Munson, because if you look at the last few months of tag team action in PPW, we've seen the Brotherhood starting to come on strong again. When they lost that triple threat tag team championship match for the crowning the first tag team champions, the Short Kings, the Brotherhood kind of fell off a little bit there. They worked with Bucky McGraw as often. They had some singles matches and some other things. We weren't sure what the future of the Brotherhood was, but as of the last couple months, they've been back with a vengeance, and they're looking as mean and as powerful as ever. Paralera, like you say, have got that non-title victory over the Short Kings, and with that finishing tandem tag team move they have called Murder, I mean, they just about broke Reed Matthews in half with that last time. That's the one move. If they hit it, it's over on any team. As great as the Short Kings are, we've seen them pinned by that maneuver before. So they're only one move away from losing those titles. And then the other team, the Clandestine Society, they haven't been as active as a team over the past months in PPW. Another team that looks good is King Richter, but they're not quite there yet. They're not quite in the championship picture yet. I have the feeling they will be because they're a great team, two skilled wrestlers that team up very well, but they're not quite there yet. So I think I would agree with you that it would probably be Short Kings versus either the Brotherhood or Paralera.
Well, and again, Pop Smokes, they haven't teamed together in Prairie Pro Wrestling. In fact, they've had nothing but bitter rivals. But I got to say, Riley Cruz and Morris Waltz making a formidable team over in the Alberta side of things, picking up victory in LPW and having another match coming up very shortly as well, too. I believe this Friday, if I'm not mistaken, as a team. Could these two who worked in the academy together, they trained together, they rode the streets together, you know, despite the fact that they might not be the best of friends and that they have differing opinions when it comes to how to get things done in the ring, it seems to me like they're making themselves a strong tag team together and might make an argument for, hey, when in doubt, join them up. Like maybe they need to go after the PPW tag team division.
Yeah, that's quite possible as well, Munson. And as wrestling fans have seen throughout the years, there are all different kinds of tag teams that can attain success. There are the matching pair, the two that wear the same outfits and have the same kind of move sets and use all the tandem moves. There are the odd couples where one's really big and strong and one's small and fast and that kind of thing. This is kind of what Riley Cruz and Marvelous Morris Waltz are, kind of a little bit of a mismatched team. They've had their issues in the past. They have a rivalry. They came up in the academy together and entered PPW at roughly the same time. There's a built-in rivalry there, but you never know how that's going to translate into chemistry for a tag team. That might be just what they need, too. So I think they're a dark horse as well. You never know when they might join the tag team fray here. And it's a pretty loaded division here too, but that's another young team that shows all kinds of promise and all kinds of future success could be had by these guys.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So interested to see what does go down in the tag team division. But one thing I can guarantee is that there will be tag matches. There will be title matches. There will be cage. There will be blood. And there will be costumes, Papa Smokes, because it is our Halloween show. And we absolutely love to see all the PPW Nation getting dressed up in their best costumes. I can't wait for it. I'm excited more than ever, more than even the wrestling inside that ring. I am happy to be seeing the PPW Nation there in person. Love that. Love the atmosphere. A lot of great people that I know coming to see PPW again. Some people coming to see PPW for their very first time, including some of the people that I've invited who haven't been to a PPW show either, Papa Smokes. My wife is going to be coming this time around. She is coming to her first PPW show in quite some time. Nothing like making that first one be the cage match inside our biggest show of the year with the biggest crowd that we ever get. I mean, it's going to be wild. I can't wait. It's going to be quite an experience with a lot of people here.
Oh, can't wait. Always love seeing the PPW Nation out there. We know a bunch of the great fans that come every single time we throw a show. There's hot dogs, there's smokes and puffs outside. There are White Claws and beers all over the place. And Munson, we had a quick peek at your costume or your mask, at least, of Art the Clown. I'll give you a slight preview of what I'm going to be wearing too. It's not a Halloween costume, but I've got an outfit that is factory setting Papa Smokes. You're going to see the real personal side of Papa Smokes during this show on Saturday night. New outfit. Can't wait to rock it for all you people out there. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. Not long now, Munson. 2 more sleeps.
2 more sleeps indeed, Papa Smokes is coming up quickly. I'm going to be there bright and early on Saturday. We also got PPW Academy doing the 2-day training camp, the boot camp for all the new young hopefuls that are looking to join Prairie Pro Wrestling and make their way up the ladder, like the Riley Cruzes, the Marvelous Morris Waltzes, and the Chris Nasties of the world. So get out there, get your bumps in, learn how to become a pro wrestler properly, and join, in my opinion, again, a lot of the ones that haven't even debuted yet, Papa Smokes, some of the hardest working individuals we've had the pleasure of being around as well, too. Can't wait to see everybody out there. Remember, if you have your tickets already, great work, because that was the smartest move you could have made. If you don't, I'm sorry, we've got very limited tickets at the door, so you better get your ass there bright and early to be able to line up to get yourself a ticket and a spot inside the Ring of Horrors for the biggest show of Prairie Pro Wrestling's calendar year. And I'm so pumped, Papa Smokes. I feel like we could talk all night, but I think that we should end it there because I got to get equipment ready. I got to finish the seating chart, and we got to get prepared for this coming Saturday. So in the meantime and in between time, why don't you tell the wonderful folks why that ticker costs so much money and where they can find you next?
All right. Papa Smokes can always be found every Thursday night on OLE Podcasts and the Video Bros Network on Ring Respect Radio, the very show you're watching right now. I can also be found on Elon Musk's free speech wonderland known as X. I am at smokes_papa. And on Twitch, I am at papa_smokes_, if any of you can find it, even with that information.
Yeah, apparently Brett's still looking to find you over there on Twitch. But for myself, Bobby Munson, down below, that is my ticker where you can find me on X, Instagram, Threads. You can find me on Twitch and on Blue Sky as well, too. What have I got coming up next? Well, tomorrow you can join myself and Asher Pizarro pre-recorded episode of Killer Cuts. Find out what we thought of the reboot of the movie Witchboard tomorrow on Killer Cuts. You can join, of course, myself, Ed Fries, and Andre C. this coming Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern time for Point of View, where we're going to be talking about the week in sports. And I'm sure I'll probably either have a clip or two or some conversation to mention about the previous night because, yeah, Papa Smokes, Saturday night, it's the Ring of Horrors. And, of course, you can catch more Prairie Pro Wrestling every Saturday afternoon on the Prairie Pro Wrestling YouTube channel, where Papa Smokes and I are your commentary team every single Saturday afternoon. This Saturday, of course, featuring the Mexican Devil El Asesino as he takes on T.Y. Jackson, one-on-one action from Beer Wars night number 1. Can't wait for that to come out and everybody to see it. But check out all the great shows we got here for you on OLE Podcast. You can find us on all social media as well as YouTube and Twitch. We appreciate any likes, follows, subscribes. Those subs have been going up like crazy lately. I know I just checked yesterday. I think we're at like 803. We're now at 809. So another 6 people subscribed in the last day. Keep those subs coming. Keep the watch hours coming. Keep the hype about OLE Podcast coming, because we are on our way to cracking that 1,000 subscribers, and we need your help to get our shows a lot more watch time so we can start getting stuff like super chats in here. So you start bringing in a little bit more of that coin our way. So if you appreciate our shows, you can donate to them moving forward. Can't wait for that time. And we can't wait till we can start getting some ads sliced in here so that YouTube can start paying us the way we deserve as well too. That's all coming up very soon with your support. Thank you very much everyone for being here. And we will be back next Thursday night, where I do believe it's going to probably be a review of SPW New Zealand's Halloween Haunting. But if that's not quite released and ready yet, then you can expect another trip through the territories. Be ready for it. That's coming up next Thursday night. Take care, everybody.